Welcome to 4 Oak Street on this Saturday afternoon here in Perth. Well, last weekend we had a model railway show, and it's the first one we've had for 3 years. So went along with a gentleman who is a bit of an engaged enthusiast. Wasn't a huge amount of layouts there for various reasons. But there was one nice engaged layout which one of the chaps who's the Engaged Society representative here was running. He's got a vast collection of all different locos, loves Class 40s, and I think he's built a huge layout at home. But anyway, once again provides a bit more inspiration for me to keep going with my layout, and I want to just bring you up to date. So in this I'm just going to show you what I've been up to, and then where I'm up to and what the next plan is in terms of my approach to the wiring. And I suppose being a DCC layout but analog point control and that, you'll see how I'm going to do that, and how I'm trying to cover the bases on, I suppose, a layout that's got a lot of track and huge potential for lots of shorts. So without further ado, I'll show you where I'm up to. So all the track, bar the two pieces that go across the TMD, has now been laid. So I'm really glad that is out of the way, because when you're building I think large layouts, one of the key things is to try and keep up the standard or processes that you think will make your layout work well and give you good running. So I suppose I've never been as enthused as I have in the last 6 months, knowing that I'm on that home straight to where I can actually have the locos running. So you can see it's all done, all the droppers are in. So the next part will be actually wiring up the droppers to the bus, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I'll just take you down and you can see a bit more of the TMD. So before that I'll just show you what I've got left. So I bought 30 meters of track, and this is what I've got left. I've got 1 point now, which I managed to order the wrong side, so that will have to act as a spare. That's a large a right-hand Electrofrog, and you can see my stock of points that I had before were some of the old boxed ones, and for the first time I've had to use some of the Unifrog points, and I think they're pretty good. I like the fact that the sleepers go to the end of the actual point, so you're not faced with, you know, lots of cutting and trimming. So anyway, let's have a look at that TMD. So this is the route down, the crossover here, and as we move down, you can see, I'll just take these 2 bits of track. That's the 2 bits that I've got left. I'm actually going to have to go and buy 1 more meter of track to finish this bit off here, where it goes across the bridge. So this is the TMD area. All the points are in. Where possible, I've tried to just put those small slots in for the motors. I actually have fitted 1 motor. I've also put in the what do you call them, the pits, if you like, and I've also managed to drill some holes, so if I feel the need, I can actually put light under there, and I will just give you an idea now. Are those drains in there, or are those lights that are meant to be there coming up from the back? Potentially drains, but anyway, I'll just sort of show you how that would look. So I don't know if you can see those, but they wouldn't look too bad. So underneath I can actually, because there's the second board, I can actually put some small LEDs. So anyway, we'll see. So giving you a look under the board, these are obviously, there's a mass now of droppers that need to be soldered, which is my method, I suppose, and also putting in the bus wire and these connectors that will allow it to join up to the next one and so forth. So this is sunny Perth, having another downpour. We've had huge rains this week, but perfect weather for modelling, so no complaints. So just looking back, you can see this TMD configuration, the fuel depot, got a couple of buildings in there, and this is what I've been testing the track with in terms of just performance. Oh, that didn't go well at all. Maybe the point wasn't changed. In fact, the point was not, because there's no point motors, the blade was half across. So, and unfortunately, because this all has to be raised up, the buildings, this is why the coach did not fit under. But yeah, you can see this is the section that I've used Unifrogs. That, I think that's a Unifrog there. Oh, sorry, that is a Unifrog point there. You can just see the frogs. That's a standard point. That's a standard, and that is a Unifrog. So yeah, no complaints. I think they're good. So that's pretty much it on the track. It's just unbelievable to think that I could have virtually laid my last piece of track. So many things, coming to an end, and I might not need that whatever again. So, as mentioned, how am I approaching the wiring of this layout? Right, okay, just thinking about this wiring. This is one thing that I obviously use. I don't know exactly the gauge. I think this is pretty much like speaker wire, but this was recommended to me a long time ago by Richard Johnson when DCC Concepts were based in Perth. Pretty hard to believe that a big company like that in the model railway was actually in Perth at one stage. He was the one who also put me onto these strippers and cutters. Had plenty of use of those. He also put me onto these tags. So I know there's lots of different ways, but the way that I do it is I use these tags. So you basically strip out a bit of wire, break the side of the tag, and solder the tag where your droppers are. So around that TMD I'm going to need quite a few tags. I've also got a way of extending those tags. So I use, if I can find them, I actually solder. These are from a company called Autronics over here. They'd be pretty much available all over the place. So what I do is I solder these tags to the ends of these. So what you have is I'll just open one of these tags. You end up with a tag with the wire going through, and then what you can do is, what I do is I solder these tags here, and that would mean that you could actually have terminals if you wanted on those, I suppose, rather than soldering, but I solder. So knowing all that, what's my approach? Well, with a layout this size, and there's 180 meters of track, soon to, all bar what's left over there. So if I got a short circuit, I would certainly be doing two things, obviously looking at locos and whatever, but I would pretty much have to go to each module and unhook the wire that goes across using these type of connectors, which you've probably seen. So I could do it by that until I actually unhook them all or work backwards, or the way that I've approached it, I've got it in districts. So at the moment on the existing layout, I've got four districts. One is the helix, then I've got the lower level and upper level, and the upper level actually finishes on the module that ends by the church and by that tunnel. Although for just testing wise, I have actually hooked up the further modules to that, but there is no wiring up to that second bridge, in this new section I'm doing. So what I was put onto in the very early days was these boards here by DCC Specialties, and these are a solid state thing that you can configure to engage by putting in jumpers across and there's full instructions as to what you should do in terms of the ampage. So I'm currently using the MRC, which is the same as the one, I can't remember the name now, but it's the same system that they sell in the UK. So what happens with these is you hook up one of these for each district. So it means your power goes in, you can then tag them together so you can have a whole series of them, and this looks after the ampage and detects any short circuits. So what happens with these is that you firstly can put one of these buzzers onto the board there. You just solder it in, and that will give you an audible high-pitched whistle, so you know, for example, that you've got a loco or a coach going against a point that causes it to trip. It will then make the noise. You can also wire onto your board, your mimic board or whatever you want to call it, an LED which can flash to tell you as well, for those I suppose that are deaf and use everything by sight. So looking at my plant here, what I've done is these from about the point here, this is actually completely insulated, this section, and the reason for that is with my wiring I've just gone black, red, black, red, black, red, black, red all the way across, and I did that because of that track work into the entrance into Four Oaks, where you have if you like, all the tracks together, and you've got a series of diamond crossings. And how I was going to wire that, I was advised, just wire it like it's one side of a layout. Black, red, black, red, black, red, or whatever, red, black, as long as it's all the same, like you're wiring one side of an oval. And then what you then do is you keep wiring it like that, but at some point you need then to have what would be a reversing loop thing here, which changes the polarity. So what we've got, districts 1 and 2 will be 2 of these to manage this, for want of a better word, a reverse loop. I've also measured my longest train. It does fit in here, so that should be fine. That will take 10 coaches and you know, a diesel or a steamer or whatever. Then with these that are just the these are just the standard ones. These aren't a reverser. I mean, all the I should mention that these can do all sorts of things. On a reverse loop, they can actually change the point automatically, a whole host of things. But these are just, if you like, a make sure that, you know, it protects the decoders. So number 3 will be, or region 3, will be the area that goes from where the board joins of the new section, and it goes right across the new bridge, right the way back up to the module, just near the church. So that is a fairly simple region, or what's the word for it, district, because there are no points. So generally speaking, you should not get any short circuits or whatever. So that just leaves number 4 region or district, and that will be the station area and the TMD and this bit that runs across the bridge. So effectively that's what I'll be wiring. So I've worked out I will probably have my panel here, and then I'll be running a bus wire. So I'll put together a board, might actually have it on a hinge, and then I will run a bus wire to these, and obviously a bus wire that does from here right the way around, and then a bus wire that will begin on this region here. So that is pretty much it. And the reason I went this way quite early in the piece, when I just got my DCC system, the MRC, I didn't actually know I'd got a short circuit happening. I had no way of knowing, and then I saw the red light on the power pack on the floor flashing, and I suddenly felt how warm that was, and the actual cable that went into it, the mains cable, was also really hot. So I thought, crikey, I suppose. So that's when I spoke to a friend at DCC Concepts when they were based here, and he was talking about these which are called PSX. These are PSX ones. You can buy them in 3s or 2s or 4s, and they just daisy chain together. And this is a PSX AR, and they do lots of different configurations. They're from Tony's Trains in the US, not hugely expensive, but they are solid state, so they're not relay based, so quite interesting. Now, the other bit of kit that I wanted to show you is, a while back on eBay, I actually got this. So knowing that this is was going to be a fairly big layout, I looked into, did I need a booster? So on this side of the layout there is going to be another booster. Here's the power supply. So how this works is this, there'll be a cable, which is a cable like this. This one's 4 meters. This will plug into the controller, if you like, the other one that looks very similar to this, and the cable will go to here, and this is also a 3.5 amp power supply. So what that'll do is that will put fresh power in this section, as well as hopefully shouldn't see too much voltage drop, particularly using a good cable like this, and also the fact that I can honestly say that on every piece of track, 99% there is droppers, and that's what I mean about keeping up your discipline, even though, you know, I've wanted to get on and get these trains running so I can just stand here and watch them and film them without the worry of them dropping off somewhere. Which also brings me to, you know, the excitement that I've had has also caused me in the last few months to actually purchase some new locos. So I'm not going to tell you what they are, but they're going to be perfect for the TMD. And hopefully on the next video you will see trains running. So sorry to disappoint you this time, but unfortunately the thing that I can't really do is I have to wire it and test it and make sure the TMD operates so that I can then build that bridge across, and that will be the last metre of track, just over a metre of track, so I need 3 metres, and we're done. But once that is, once those are in, I will be the most excited person in the Southern Hemisphere. So that's pretty much the update. So I'll be also using these Cobalt IP analog, because even if I'd gone digital, I would have either needed still some sort of panel to see whether they're set open or closed, and obviously the thing to do in that case would have been to go fully computer controlled, which maybe I might regret not doing that, but at this point in time I think I've got more than enough for one person to manage, so I didn't want to spend the next 3 years just wiring. So yeah, thanks to everybody for commenting, and those that subscribe, and all those that have got N-Gauge layouts and 00 and whatever. I certainly enjoy looking at them. So thank you, and see you on the next one. Bye.